Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chitlins of all ages, welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I am your host, the one, the only, the often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar, Tim Vicious. And before I go and start with this week's, get the words right, man. Before I go and start with this week's bitchin' and moaning, first off, get the hell out of here, or at least move some. Cramping my style, kid. Anyways, first off, I want to say thanks to everyone that took the time to actually understand why I didn't do a shoot last week. Little man's birthday, you know, he's my boy, so I'm going to give him the day. You don't like it? I kind of have this one word I typically tell people, but I can't really remember what it is, but I'm sure it'll come to me at some point in time. Anyways, on with this week's Raw. You know, it started out, they had the Job Squadron, and I wish I could take credit saying that I gave them that name, but no. James Vanderbeek on the Beak from the Creek, James Vanderbeek on Twitter wound up putting that out. You ain't following them, y'all need to. Good old-fashioned wrestling boy, lots of good jokes. Lots of good jokes. Look for him also, James Vanderdead on Twitter also. Anyways, Job Squadron's out on the apron, Shield standing guard at the ring post. Hunter and Steph come out. Big thing that caught my eye on this, first and foremost, was actually two things. One was that Hunter wound up coming out to the game music as opposed to King of Kings like he's been. And I don't know if that was a mistake on the production crew or if they're doing that to try and revamp him or what, but I don't know. I like it. I like the King of Kings. I like him coming out to that instead as opposed to the game. But also another thing that caught me, it's not a big deal and it's not a big make or break thing. It's the fact that Rollins and Reigns were both wearing their tag titles, because any other time they always have them draped over their shoulders. You know, Ambrose was the only one that wore the title, but it's nothing. You know, next thing you know, anyways, Hunter and Steph come out. They go and they're talking about on how they came out because they felt that, not because that the Squadron came out, not because they wound up were going to help Bryan, but it was what was best for business and that sort of shit. And then Rob Van Dam came up and dude, and I just want to say this right now. I'll be the first to admit, I missed hearing RVD say dude when he would cut a promo, but honestly, give the man more of a vocabulary instead of just having dude, whatever, and Rob Van Dam or RVD. You know, give the man more of a vocabulary. You seen that he could cut promos in ECW, and yet it drives me up a fucking wall, them doing that. Anyways, he comes out, he gets up to the mic, says, Hunter, dude, we didn't do that because it was best for business and that kind of shit. We did it to help Bryan. And so Tripp looked at them all and said, that's what you guys said? Really? Okay, tell you what. Seeing as on how the Shield's been running rough side on all of y'all for for a little under a year now, we'll have all of you go up against the Shield in an elimination match tonight. And just to make things fair, we'll give you the guy that you feel has been there for you. We'll give you Daniel Bryan also. So 11-on-3 handicap. And they keep hyping up saying that they're going to have it. It's the first time in Raw history that they're doing that all through the night. So, yeah, that being aside, also one thing that wound up driving me nuts, they wound up announcing that Steph wound up saying that they were going to have Randy Orton go up against somebody, and they gave the choice of Ziggler, Van Dam, or Christ, I can't even remember who else. And they said that you can make the choice on the WWE app, And they kept going on and on about it like they're fucking app raping us again. It is stupid. Look, I'll be the first to admit, I did have the app when it first came out. It was lagging, it crashed. I did not like it one bit. That thing sucks. And I mean more than a Tijuana whore on crack. I mean more than a Tijuana crack whore on nickel night. Sucks. But, anyways, the big thing that drove me nuts with that was they actually showed a demonstration video on where to go on how to download it. That night I wound up feeling a very sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach because I wound up finding out watching Raw, Jerry Lawler has the same kind of phone as me. So, I think it may be time for me to upgrade or downgrade, whichever. Anyways, first match of the night, Kofi Kingston versus Del Rio. Squash match, don't need to go over it. Anyways, after that, they do a segment with Miz. Before Miz can get even a chance to say anything, Tripp says he's going to let him do a Miz TV segment, and his guest is going to be Big Show. Next match of the night, Wyatt's Rowan and Harper versus the Primetime Players. Squash match, knowing how that goes. I was pissed off. First two matches of the night, squash matches. That's really bad. Especially seeing as on how it's Chicago, which is one of the better wrestling cities in the U.S. And I've said this before. Philadelphia, Chicago, Boston. 3 best towns to have a wrestling show in that order. Because those are the 3 most brutally honest crowds out there. Especially with Philly, because we'll love you or hate you, and sometimes both at the same time. And any of y'all that are watching this from Philly that wound up ever going to Swanson and Rittner during the 90s, go and catch a show, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyways, after that match, Bray Wyatt wound up grabbing Young, hit him with Sister Abigail. Love seeing that move go in action. Would like to see them start hyping up, saying like they have like more mystery videos on what's up with Kane and all. But, you know, they ain't gonna, because you know they're downplaying Kane so that way he can go and shoot See No Evil too. Either way, not a big deal. Next match of the night, they had Randy Orton versus whoever the app vote was for. And another reason on why I won't get the app is because I won't vote on it because the votes are rigged. Because they'll give you so many choices and yet they always go with what they want. So it won't matter anyway. So they wound up picking Rob Van Dam. I'd like to say it was a squash match, but it didn't go in a squash match type manner. But of course, everyone knows on how the end game on that's going to be. Especially now that they're turning Randy Orton into the ultra mega heel. You know? So, match was kind of back and forth for a good part of it. Till eventually, Orton and Van Dam, they were outside. Randy wound up ripping off the padding off one of the security barriers. Tossed Van Dam onto it. Got DQ'd. Started going at him a little more. Tossed him around the steps, over the table. And then gave him an elevated DDT from the top rope. Next thing you know, they come back from commercial, and Del Rio comes down, starts rolling on Van Dam, beating him up, stomping on him. You know, can't necessarily knock Del Rio for doing that because he needs to get some serious heat on him besides the fact of just saying that he beat this guy or he beat that guy. You know, and what better way to do it than to ride the coattails of the top big heel in the company. You know, next thing you know, next match of the night, they wind up having Fen Booger Flicker or Fen Can't Color Coordinate. Oh no, it's Fen Can't Get a Push ever since he got his concussion versus Canada's Greatest Italian. And yes, that's right, he's originally from Canada. Don't get it twisted. Santino's coming back, so obviously they're giving him a lot of airtime, giving him a big thing. Comedy gimmicks, I'm not a big fan of, never have been. I mean, if you got a serious guy doing a comedy story, that's one thing. And, it's very rare I'm into comedy characters or comedy gimmicks. One of them was Goldust, when he would go and do the thing. That, Goldie, I always liked. But, anyways, match was, it didn't really have a wow factor. It just seemed like it was one of those kind of matches that they would have to go and just chew time off the clock for the show. And, anyways, what's his name? Or, no, it's Fan Butthole or something like that. Wound up hitting the finish, leg drop from the top rope, and I swear, if that's going to be his permanent finish, that guy is not going to have a career for very long. Because that thing is going to wind up killing his tailbone and his lower back. And I'm just speaking from experience having back issues. That is really going to wind up that puts a lot of pressure and a lot of weight down on your back. But he got the win. Aside from that, the only other actually I can't even say that. There were only two high spots in that match that wound up actually really catching my eye. One, the crowd actually woke up and gave a big pop because up until Fan What's-His-Name came out, the crowd was dead for the entire show, which is saying something considering it's a Chicago crowd. And, that and they started up a Summer Rae chant, which I thought was nice to see, because I'd like to see her actually in the ring and compete, as opposed to dancing around and looking like a C-list stripper. Especially considering she's got an A-list body. But, anyways, next thing you know, after that match, Punk wound up coming out, got the hugest pop of the night, and I'm saying that right now, even though I'm only partway into the show. Punk got the largest pop of the night, and that's to be given, especially considering he's Chicago-born, Chicago-bred, and he'll wind up being, and, he's good old-fashioned Chi-Town boy. Good old-fashioned Chi-Town boy. 10 get you 20, he's from Southside, too. But anyways, he came out, had on a Blackhawks jersey. It's all well and good. He roots for his team, I root for mine. He's a Blackhawks fan, I'm a Flyers fan. He's a Bears fan, I'm an Eagles fan. He's a Cubs fan, I'm a Phillies fan, so we can both relate on how it goes with the series. But anyways, he comes out and he's talking about on how he feels that he let the crowd down, that he didn't get a chance to really get to Heyman as much as he wanted to and all. And then on how Ryback got him, and on how he was saying that no matter what he's got to do, no matter if he has to go through Axel, Heyman, anyone, all that, or Axel, Ryback, or whoever, he's going to wind up getting to Paul Heyman. That's good. And it's nice seeing this feud, instead of seeing a feud between a wrestler and a wrestler, seeing a feud between a wrestler and a manager. Because, last to my memory, I can't remember a good feud between wrestler and manager. And the manager is just throwing wave after wave of people at him, and it's not stopping him. Next thing you know, Heyman comes out, and instead of being in a wheelchair like he was last week, where he looked like all he needed to do was just say, "Come to me, my X-Men!" This week he comes out in like one of those shopping cart wagons that you see like the people in like the big hefty moo people in, which I fell to the floor laughing the second I saw Paul come out, and I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Especially seeing as on how I used to be a cashier, and and those people used to yell at me all the time when they would say, "This thing almost died on me halfway through the store." Well, maybe if you people didn't leave them on all the time, it wouldn't have. Duh. But anyways, Heyman comes out saying on how he's the best in the world because he beat the best in the world and all that. And then the scooter wound up no selling because it wouldn't work. Punk dropped the mic, came down, went to go and grab Heyman to start beating him up. Axel and Ryback came out. He broke them two off, started ripping into Axel, tossed him into the light wall, and then did a crossbody onto Ryback, started beating him up. Next thing you know, Ryback wound up getting the upper hand, picked him up, and press slammed him onto a table. And then next thing you know, you just see Heyman, Axel, and Ryback all standing, and Heyman wound up faking the whole scooter thing for that, just so that way they could get their hands on him. It's good. You know, this is probably one of the better non-title storylines I'm seeing that they have Punk in to date for a good while. Because when Punk was he's good. They just need to utilize him. They're utilizing him now. Which brings up a point I was thinking on, because all I'm thinking now is Orton's heel, Cena and Sheamus are gone, Punk and Bryan are now top tier guys in WWE. Fuck! I got everything I want. Just give me a Coke now. You know? Anyways, on with the show. Ryback pressed Punk through a table. Next thing you know, he was down there, and they showed the docs and medics trying to help him up, and he was fighting them off. What wound up confusing me more than anything while they were doing that, they had the other wrestlers' music playing while they were still doing that. The production crew can raise and lower the crowd's chants constantly, all the time, and yet they couldn't do that for this. I felt like that having the whatever kind of the syphilis dactyls coming out, having their music playing while Punk is being helped and escorted to the back, downplayed the injury. Like, okay, yeah, we know you're hurt, but hey, look, we have this show going right here. Really? But next match of the night, they had the Syphilis Dactyls and Natalia versus the Syphilis Dactyls, Natalia, and the Bellas versus AJ, Layla, Alicia, Oksana, and Tamina. And I still swear Tamina looks like a dude, just because the face makes her look mannish. Nothing else. That's all I'm saying right there. But anyways, wasn't really impressed with the Bella match. Really wasn't impressed with the Bella. They were having the Bellas do the air time, most of the ring time for it, really. And really didn't like the match at all. Don't like on how they're having the women's division go. They're focusing more on the ones that are doing that stupid-ass reality show. And it's annoying and pissing me off to no other end. I can't think of any other way to say it. Actually, I can, but little kids tend to watch this, so I'll just leave it as piss shit fuck. Okay? Anyways, another thing that's confusing the hell out of me, since when the fuck did the Bellas wind up getting babyface? Is it because all of a sudden that people are realizing on who it is that they're blowing? Anyways, of course, obviously, the Syphilis Dactyls, Natalia, and the Bellas won the match. Ooh, yay. Next thing you know, come out. Next match of the night, it's the 11-on-3. Bryan comes out, cuts a promo saying on how he's going to win the title, at Battleground, which is, I'm hoping for anyway. Fingers crossed on that. And he's saying he's going to win. Orton was knocked out. You could have counted the 20. It's good, but he's repeating the same stuff he's been. I'd just like to see Bryan say something different. That's just me, though. Next thing you know, the Shield comes out. Shield's coming out, and right as the Shield jumps the barricade, Cody and Goldust wind up beating the snot out of him, which threw me off to no other end, because I was not expecting that. Now, all this is telling me right here that they're going to have this be a really good feud, and they're probably going to wind up leading into a match where they're going to have like either a handicap 2-on-3, or even yet Dusty will wind up saying, you know what, I'm going to compete, I'm going to fuck with my boys, and we're going to take the field out, or something like that. And yeah, that's my best of the rose. It's my best of the rose that Puffin Nathan right there. And having them fight, I'm seeing either a 2-on-3 or a 3-on-3 handicap or tag match. If not Battleground, then probably Survivor Series. All depending on how far along they wind up milking this. Because we all know in storyline, Cody's just fired in storyline. They're just giving him time off so that way he could do the wedding and enjoy time with the missus and all. Things like that. But next thing you know, they do the match. The 11-on-3, I honestly was not expecting that. And the biggest thing I was kind of surprised on was they're going to have a big thing. I was thinking they're going to have a hard time running the ropes. Having that many guys on the ring at once. Having that many guys on the apron at once. But anyways, it was pretty good. Ambrose wound up taking out a few guys. Reigns wound up taking out a few guys back to back to back. Till eventually Reigns wound up getting pinned. And then Ambrose and Rollins just looked and they were like, what the fuck? And next thing you know, they wind up, Ambrose and Reigns wind up holding their own for a good bit, which is nice. And I know a lot of people are saying with this that now, oh, the Shield's going to turn on Hunter, they're going to go babyface. No, they're not. I don't see them doing that, because if you looked at on how they've been being used lately, they were being used as Hunter's hired muscle. They were being used as Orton's muscle. And now all of a sudden you want to, if they do that, if they do turn, where the hell is that going to stand for them? You could say that it was an injustice for them that they had to do that, so now they're going to go and wage a war against them. Really? How are you going to do that? Because we'll just say for the hell of it, even if the Shield did go face, who are they going to have the Shield go up against constantly? Because they have nobody siding with them saying that, yeah, I think you're right, that is what's best for business. You don't even have any of the bad guys saying that to them. They're probably going to play this as, you know what, the Shield just needed to go and get put into the corner and get a timeout for a minute sort of deal, That's my view, that's my opinion. You don't like it, too bad, turn it off, go watch something else. I don't give a shit. Anyways, the match was good. It ended in a nice, beautiful way. After Ambrose got eliminated, there were 4 guys left, and Rollins just looked, he was like, oh, what the fuck? And Bryan was in the ring. He wound up taking them all out. Bryan wound up taking out Rollins. And then eventually they all wound up celebrating, yes, 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 and then the camera cut. That was real nice. Anyways, wound up actually completely forgetting. I'm sorry I did. I forgot to talk about the Miz segment. Miz wound up doing his Miz TV segment halfway through the show, talking and saying, Big Show, come on out here. Show came out, and
for all intents and purposes, I think that was actually one of Miz's better mic time, one of Miz's best mic promos ever since the Awesome Truth thing he was doing. Because he didn't have that arrogant, preppy, I'm better than you kind of attitude. He just had, alright, I'm out here, I'm hurting like hell, let's get this over with, show, come on out right now. And then he wound up saying, and then he wound up showing a video of when Show knocked out Dusty. And next year, he wound up just saying, Show, I'm not holding you responsible for what you did. I'm holding that dirty, disgusting, bottom-feeding, trash bag excuse for a hoe. Wait, no. That's what Jericho used to call her. Well, anyways, wound up saying he blames Steph for it. And then Steph came out, was saying that he don't have the right to go and say that kind of stuff, this, that, and the other, and then said, Show, take him out. And then Show just decked him and then walked away. Not even doing a kind of bit. Which, you know, is showing me that maybe that they're going to have Show being played as, you know what, I know I got to be the corporate muscle and I'm going to do it. I'll just do it. Okay? You know, either that or, you know, possibly another heel turn for Show. Maybe not. I don't know. But either way, that's the entire show. I give it a 6.5. I give it a 6 out of 10. I'd have given it a 6.5 if the crowd didn't fucking sleep through a good third of it. But the matches were what wound up making it such a low score. Anyways, like normal, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at TimVicious. Look for my backup account because Twitter decides to be a douchebag over it and throw me in jail and suspend me all the time for it. Tim_Vicious. Also, don't forget to check out this week's TNA Turnaround with your host, The Ollie, and just a stupid Mark on there. They asked me to be on again. I absolutely loved it being on there. I enjoyed it. Ollie, I know you're probably watching this right now. You ever want me to come on, you know my number. You give me a holler. We'll set it up, man. You know I always love being on there, and I always love doing the laughs. I appreciate you having my fantasy booking as the What the Fuck segment for the week. That was badass. Thank you very much. Appreciate that from the bottom of the heart. Also, don't forget to check out Axel Mulligan on Twitter. He does a blog. He does weekly blogs on Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views. He's a good-ass dude. Knows what the hell he's talking about with the shows. Basically kind of like what I'm doing here, but just in a written format. Also, don't forget to check out all of these cool-ass cats right here on Twitter. KCat26, my brother from another mother, James Steele, JX2001, that Roxy girl, _ it's V bitch, James, Roxy, and Vicky all got their own YouTube shows. Make sure y'all check them out. Monkey Mars, Helen Robinson 82, Meow _ Cakes, Jerry Soriano, Team Custom Made, Cranky Asshole, Stacy and actually Stacy changed her Twitter handle. I believe it's Hardcore Stace, but you can check on that. Also, look for Legion Lady Aaron, Legion of Nerds. Make sure y'all check out legionofnerds.com, and like I said, make sure you look for TNA Turnaround for last week's Impact. I wound up doing a review, wound up doing a roundtable on that. Like I said, absolutely fucking loved it. And like I keep telling all y'all all the time, you love me great, you hate me, fuck you.